Hello, friends. It is New Year's Eve, and we want to be the first ones to say Happy New Year to you. It's Serious Joy Live, and today we're going to be talking about people's questions, but also a bigger scope on what's going on with this year, how we're wrapping up a major karma era, and really, there's a lot to toast about tonight. So keep streaming. We're going to be streaming our whole show.
SiriusJoy Academy is now offering gift certificates called Gifted Scholarships in 6-month, 9-month, and 1-year increments. This is the first time we've ever offered this. SiriusJoy is the most accurate astrology service in the world. And now you can stun your loved ones with a spiritual mirror that helps them every day. Visit SiriusJoy.academy to make your purchase. That's SiriusJoy.academy. Available now.
You started your business for freedom, but somewhere along the way, it turned into chaos. You're trying to fit your unique vision into someone else's blueprint, and it's leaving you feeling overwhelmed and second-guessing your every move. That's exactly why we created From Chaos to Clarity, your 12-week live business intensive. We give you the courage to claim your voice, the clarity to build your unique framework, and the conviction to lead your business your way. You'll get live power hours to hone your strategy and weekly accountability sprints to make sure the work actually gets done. Stop following, start building. You don't need to do it all alone. Clarity is closer than you think.
Hi friends, it's that time of the year. It's the new year, and that means it's time for a countdown webinar. Every year I go through a long lecture where I talk about the year ahead, all the transits, what all the pitfalls are, and what all the opportunities are. Now, 2026 is going to be out of this world. Most astrologers agree it's difficult to predict, but I think I've nailed it down. In fact, the theme this year is New World Order. I get that because I don't feel the age of Aquarius is about the future. I think it's about the ancient past, and I'll give you some pointers in the lecture to point out why I feel that way. But this year I divided up to be much easier. Saturday has 3 independent lectures with an hour break in between. Each lecture is focused on the theme, the first 6 months, and then the last 6 months, so it's very easy to digest. Also, there's a 90-minute question and answer period that everyone gets access to. Everyone can submit a question, but 2 people can get a VIP 15-minute question session on camera with me at the end of the day. On Sunday, it's a workshop to plot your chart into the future. It's Firehorse here, and this is a Firehorse workshop. We'll look at the key dates, all the pitfalls, and all the opportunities. We'll look at your chart, and we'll help you come to a determination of how to plan the year. There's also going to be interaction amongst the students where you can meet people who have the same sun sign and have the same fire line. Fire line meaning, well, that's a secret you'll learn about on Sunday. But what I'm most proud of this year is the 2026 Countdown Step Calendar. A digital calendar that you can subscribe to. The entire year of data, every step change according to local time, every step day, what that means, planets and transits, Mercury retrogrades, love fest days, and even some surprises, some Easter eggs I'll let you find out for yourself. This calendar is ready to be downloaded on January 1st. Find out how you can purchase it now. Whether you go to this webinar or not, you'll want this calendar. And to be fair, I'm implementing a new rule this year. I'll answer your questions in the order in which you purchased a ticket. So don't waste any time. Come to newyears.guru. Come to newyears.guru and get yours today.
Welcome, everybody. It's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year to you. I've been saying that a lot. I mean, as we go live here. It's already quite late in New York. People are probably getting on the road for whatever they're going to do. This is going to be a quiet New Year's for me, actually. And I have this like tradition in my own self where I always feel like whatever I'm doing on New Year's Eve is a symbol for the year ahead. And this year has been very much focused on at the end of the year, like self development, getting focused on myself again, coming back to myself, finding myself again. That's been the real theme for me. And I found myself again. And I feel like people are too. I talked about with a client today about that. And so as a result, I mean, I've been so busy. I literally have worked all day today, of course, and really hard the last couple of weeks. So just relaxing at home is going to be my New Year's really. And that's so nice actually for me just to be able to exhale and relax. And I feel good about that too, because that to me is a celebration. Interesting what we celebrate on this holiday. And, spiritually, this is a day where we really are astrologically in line with what we fall into psychologically. We have New Year's resolutions and where I'm going to do different next year, and next year it's going to be this way. People think that way in Capricorn. They like take a moment to start planning, and we would be that way anyways, is what I'm saying. But it's funny how we have a holiday near one of those major astrological things that we need. By the way, you can get a actually reading today if you want to get a quick little reading on camera, or you can also do one question or a question to follow up. I'll do it right here for you live. This is a great time. I mean, it's the new year. Would you like to know about next year? Would you like to know about what's coming for you specifically? And I am a very good visual psychic. So quite often, if there's like a clean, kind of easy connection between us, I'll definitely pick up things, psychically on top of the reading as well, which is, I don't know if people know that, but that's something you do if you get a private reading with me. But honestly, because I put so much into developing myself and our company this year and just trying to step into myself, I haven't had a lot of time to do readings because that's one thing that has to go. So I've kind of backed up and I apologize for that. But this is a great way to get one quick little question. And I love it because it gives me an opportunity to randomly look at my wisdom and share wisdom. Because that's the thing as a teacher, it's like, gosh, what should I share with today? You don't always know. And so the questions kind of cue it all to open magically. So how's everyone today? I want to actually look in the chat too. I'm going to make a better point to look at the chat while I'm on the show because all the other shows we don't. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Christina, Alma, hi. Yeah, it's nice to see everyone here. Abby, hi. I know this is a weird night too, actually, in the sense that people may tune in or may not tune in. You might catch this later. If you do, that's cool. We're just hanging out really and talking about the year's end and New Year's beginning and answering questions and doing readings if possible. We have little things to show you, little videos and stuff that we've been working on. Creativity's been just through the roof, and I'll talk about that too. And I'm real curious in the audience, those who are live chatting, what is this New Year's for you? Like I just loved it, like one sentence. What is this New Year's for you right now? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? And where are we? Let me go in the. How do you go? Remember to read my director's notes. Okay, never mind. What's that? Okay, gotcha. So sorry about that. That's live TV for us. Like, what's the message? People trying to get message at me at the same time. Well, let's talk about the year real quick. I want to give like a heavy part now and get it over with and just talk about it because I think it's been a heavy year for everyone in the world. And astrologically, you should know we've been in a cycle of that. What's really happened this year is that we've wrapped up some really old things we've been working on for a long time. The biggest thing that we have been wrapping up is Neptune being in Pisces. It went to Pisces in 2012. And that was the mind shift. That was when really we had a lot of immediate psychic awareness open up. I remember for me, that's when trauma started coming up, like out of nowhere, just anxiety out of nowhere. The spooky, where'd that come from? Why am I feeling this way? Kind of haunted by anxiety at that time. And it was just the psychic side opening up big time. I don't think it had any past life visions before that. I mean, my psychic side has opened so much with Neptune and Pisces. But the first thing that happened was just all the stuff I was hiding, repressing, that I didn't even know I was. I mean, this thing about repressing, you didn't even know you are. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So anyways, it's been a whole year of coming to terms with, for everyone, these deep spiritual Pisces issues, whatever they happen to be. Your natal chart will tell you kind of where they unfold in your life. Sometimes they're easy places, sometimes they're hard places. But as we wrap up this New Year's Eve, I mean, one thing we're toasting to is we're saying, goodbye, Neptune, goodbye. The last time Neptune was in Pisces was, the Civil War. I always say that. And, a huge moral crisis at that time. President Lincoln, I mean, one person who history makes it look like one person stitched that together, that period together. But that's how divided the people were then. And I don't think we're as divided now as we're told we are, by the way. But there was a moral divide. It's not right. That's not proper. And Pluto is in Taurus. So our boundary structure was really stuck up with money. In fact, the war was very much about money. It was very much about finances, and they don't pay taxes and blah blah blah, and two-fifths compromise from the original Constitution and how that's turned out. So, anyways, it's kind of funny, but that was the last time we were called to spiritually grow. So when Neptune moves in its home sign, we kind of like do a reboot, and the whole consciousness of Pisces, of Neptune itself, goes up another level. That's what happens. So we went up a level around the Civil War, and now we've just gone up a level. And I have to say that was hell. That was hell. I mean, that was a lot of deep work, and personal stuff, and all kinds of things that bring up pain. And I'm not saying it was impossible, and really, honestly, I came through it okay. But God, I don't know if I'll sign up for that again, right? Like, just because I think ascension is much harder than descension, So if you're feeling that way, the good news is I feel like it's over, in the sense of the unknown that troubles us, the unknown that triggers us, and also not being confident with our psychic abilities. That's one thing I am now. I'm very confident. I can feel stuff. I know the universe will warn me if I'm in trouble, and that's a real nice safety blanket, that you just know you're going to get that vibe, that page. So that's one of the themes. But before I go into the other two themes, if you'd like to get a reading, come to SiriusJoy.shop. That's where we are posting the readings right now, and that'll be the best time, so we can kind of schedule things out and make sure everyone gets an opportunity to come on. I myself have been doing all kinds of readings. I did two trades this week with friends of mine. This I was going to lead to here, and that was, and I came to all these realizations because I was affirmed, in these personal readings. We do trades, and I was affirmed, a couple times, like, okay, whew, my friends and colleagues are seeing the same thing. Thank God, kind of thing. So Pisces was heavy, just to kind of close it out. And I don't think we'll ever have it again that way. But the good news is that we really are all clear channels now. And I have to say, when I talk to people, I mean, I always read everybody. I'll read, people at 7-Eleven. I just kind of scan them and feel where they are. And people are a lot more clear. The average people that I'm running into are not freaking out. They feel centered. They feel grounded. They're not sure where they're going next, but Americans did a lot of good healing. And I'm really glad, actually, because I was concerned, for a long time, just from the family I was born. So that's one long theme. That's a long spiritual theme that's ending. Another theme that's ending is the issue of Uranus and Gemini and coming through Taurus, in the sense that we have just been innovating our values in Taurus for a long time. And values are deep. You don't realize how much they run, how deep they run. But our values going up higher and higher, which means that the experience of our values going up was always like, hey, I'm not being valued. Hey, this person's not valuing me. Hey, this. So we're becoming aware of all the things that don't value us. Thus, we're not valuing ourselves. Thus, we're not pulling it out of the world. And that's a huge, huge thing too, because that determines just how people can do or not do, how productive people are, how resourceful people are. Can people use their creative manifestation and make things happen? Or are they waiting for the world, like in the supply chain, to make things happen? So we're now the whole world, very industrious and ready to make stuff. So that's interesting, right? And the last time we went through this period was World War II. So it's not since World War II when we got all, crazy with industrialization and began to, feed the war and then feed the world and whatnot, that huge ramp up of capacity and the ability to just do so much more with just simple electricity and more power. And what's interesting, and then it goes into Gemini, where TV becomes a worldwide thing, and radio had already been a thing, but TV then becomes the next network. So at that time, Uranus and Gemini was networking the world through television. Well, here we are with Uranus and Gemini this time, and we are with Uranus coming out of Taurus. And so the industrious part was really just all this extra building of the internet, all the building of the hardware for AI, all of the, the electric cars, auto navigation, like a lot of cool stuff come out with Uranus and Taurus, like building practical systems or markets or departments where things can be sold. Now that Uranus is in Gemini, the sky's the limit, and maybe even not, because we're kind of spacey now. We're literally in space. Consumers are just about to go do tourism in space, even. But at that time, we were going to space for the first time. So it's like the race for the moon, I think was inspired by Uranus and Gemini. Like, we can get smarter and do it. And now the race of AI with Uranus and Gemini is going to just take us to levels we can't even believe. In fact, that's going to be part of my show and tell tonight. My new hobby, not really hobby, but when I get moments to myself, I go and make little movies on Grok right now with video, because you can just tell Grok what you want, and you get a whole imagination of it. It's pretty crazy. That alone is, to me, Uranus and Gemini, where it's like, oh my God, I used to have to sketch that in film school to then think about how I was going to go film it, to, getting the lighting right, getting all these things right. And now I can just write it up like a movie, and it's there. It's really hard for me to fathom, because I went to school to be a filmmaker. But what it does is just open up imagination. I'll take a bit here and look at the chat. Let's look at the what's going on in chat. Yeah, I don't know. We're getting some weird comments. Yeah. We're working on it. So people, it's like the mega. Yeah, we're quite sure that's not the case, Catherine. We'll talk about it. Feeling Uranus being in Gemini, now it's back opposing. Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up, Abby, because Uranus is dipped back into Taurus. So in this whole story just unfolded for you, here we are again. We've now built all the hardware. The quantum computers are around the corner. The electric cars are here. Auto driving is just around the corner. Some major jets and kind of things. That's all the Taurus side of it. And then Gemini's like, and then run, see how far this can go. And but we've dipped back into Taurus right now. So on this New Year's Eve, you have already examined your values from A to Z. And once Uranus went into Gemini, you had some time to realize where your mind can get in its own way. I think that's really what it came down to, is our mind can get in our own way. So we've learned where our mind can get in our way, and like, get out of my own way. And now we're back in Taurus, which goes, basically, now that I'm out of my own way, do I maybe want to change the plans? And for me, it has been yes, believe it or not. Okay, we have 2 questions queued up. Awesome. I'll finish up these longer term themes here. But basically, we are ready now to go much higher. And that's what my message is to you. This isn't a time to hold yourself back. There's tools like AI. Just AI alone tells me, oh my gosh, go ahead and do your dreams now, people. Go for what you want, because the technological leap is so quantum, so incredible, that it's quite possible that something you're assuming you can't do now could be done in an automated or computer way very quickly soon. And so don't hold your dreams back. Don't say, wait. It just opens the door for everything. And now it's really made the most creative win. I think creativity is going to float to the top, which I'm so grateful for. We'll see. I mean, it has to happen. But I'm already feeling, from restrictions off of my chest, my creativity personally, my feeling like I'm going to go be creative now. A return to my fun side that likes to make Legos and, write stories and blah, blah, blah. The artist in me is really inspired with all these fun toys. And it makes me realize, wow, I have not been giving into that part of myself. All right. So New Year's Eve resolution. What am I worth? And what's my mindset going forward? That's a question or a toast. Well, what's my mindset? My mindset is anything's possible. Go for it. Just go for it. I mean, a solid green light in my heart. Just like, go for it. And actually, part of my being not quite on schedule right now is that I suddenly have access to so many directions. I've given myself permission to just be who I am and do whatever I want in my heart, like truly my heart, not greed or anything. And now I'm like, there's so many choices. I'm a little distracted. I'm having a hard time focusing on, okay. And that's a Virgo issue, right? Virgos always have that issue. They have too many things they want at once. All right. So let's do our first question. Let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't have a chart, right? So, man, I've noticed this week too, all these masters asking questions. So thank you, masters, for asking questions. We've had, 24, 25, and 26 range through 28, like all this week with questions. So that was interesting and nice. And we thank you for that. Gotcha. All right. So step 24 Taurus, Iris, maybe female, forgive me if I made it male, but moo. Moo, 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 moo. Moo, moo, moo. So that's all I want to pass you, a little secret Taurus sauce. And I have some Net 6 in Taurus too. For you, you are opening up, accepting, and receiving in life in general. And so I think the first thing, before I even dive into your question, if it comes back, is that you can relax now. I think Tauruses can really relax in their pasture and get their groove on and really get into what's solid for them, because you're about to do a lot of magic and give a lot of as Tauruses do, birthing to new things. Just a general Taurus note. Capricorn moon at step 25, another high degree. 25 moon in Capricorn is 100% past life, organized religion, and a leader of organized religion in the past life. And then a Cancer rising at 28 Cancer. Damn, that's a fertile chicken. 20 Cancer is about as fertile as it gets as far as babies. I always say the little old lady who lived in a shoe had so many children, didn't know what to do. Step 28 Cancer would be that. Absolutely. So looking for advice on love and becoming more abundant. Quite Taurus, the question there. Quite Taurus. Let's see here. With the rising at 28 Cancer, that's ultimately the issue for you when it comes to love anyways. Because Capricorn, Cancer rising is ruling at 28 on the ascendant, your emotional nurturing self you're using for your personality. And so your personality is there, emotionally there for them, always emotionally there for others. A little stoic at 28, but that's good, because you're kind of like divine feminine wisdom is what comes across when people meet you, as a divine wisdom. But 28 on the other side of Capricorn, your relationship to yourself, that's like ultimately you came in treating yourself like a corporation. That's how you treat yourself in the beginning when you were born. And so you've been thawing that out, and Pluto's going across that line, and now Pluto's in your 7th house, and of course it's in Aquarius. But these are just, Aquarius for you is just, 3 degrees in to your 7th house. So it's Capricorn, Aquarius. Point being, you are just now beginning to have a major revolution when it comes to the way you look at relationships. And you just have to sit back and enjoy the ride and just kind of see where the universe pulls you if you want to make this easy, right? Now, you're good at allowing yourself to be led because you're step 24. And so I think you had a vibration just sort of smell where the universe is trying to take you. You will be engaged in relationships. Yes, you have no choice. Anyone who has who basically has a Leo rising or this late of a Cancer, in your case, Cancer rising, they're going to be going through a lot of transformation of their personal self for the next, slow 10 years of Pluto in the 7th house. It's a long transit. The question is how long it will take. And the truth is, I feel psychically when it comes to love, we don't know the year you were born, but I feel past life unresolved partners that are coming in. So you've got old relationships to kind of like sew up that you haven't met yet, past life connections. So just be cool and patient with yourself, because every little engagement with a person, which is really you recalling a past life, recalling what you had learned in that marriage, in that life, recalling what you had learned in that marriage, in this life, this is the education you're about to go through with yourself. So as far as, the whole hot love affair, when someone come in, or when I find true love, God knows. And I mean that with all respect, because Pluto is going to completely make over the way you approach that. And as long as you approach yourself very differently, then it'll happen faster. What was the second part of that question? I'm going to be wordy because we're filling here. Was that on a timer or something? There's always goes away. Looking for advice on love and becoming more abundant. Okay, so abundance. For Tauruses, first of all, I do think that I was talking to some colleague friends of mine today in the last 24 hours, and this is relevant to your reading, and you're Taurus too. So, we were talking about how the world economy, everything's in a weird moment because people are changing their power. And so, where is the value of things? Where is money? Where's abundance? How is abundance? I feel like there's an entire new economy, an entire new way of connecting financially that is starting to unfold, right? In fact, I've been surprised, multi-level marketing coming back, or at least coming back in my point of view, which was something like Amway, what was that? Mary Kay, these are ways of getting products and services out, by the street, by, old ways of doing it. But now what I'm seeing is that the old ways of organizing in like sort of beehives of people is coming back, but the way they're organizing is changing because software is running it and monitoring it and helping it. So it's like a really interesting little moment. But what it told me is like, we're about to change to that level, what makes a person rich, how a person gets rich. That path itself is about to just open up differently in a way we can't understand. So as far as anyone being worried about money this year, I say you have to think on your feet. And I say that to you. You've already had Jupiter because of your Cancer rising at 28. Jupiter has gone through, Jupiter basically right now, at the moment, is coming out of your Cancers, but that's mostly been in the 12th house for you. So Jupiter is technically in the 12th house. You're technically learning subconscious stuff. And so my point is, until Jupiter crosses that rising at 28, the new you won't come out. So as far as money is concerned, you're not the new salesperson yet, So, you have a lot of research to do, and you have a lot of changes you're going to come up with. And the good news is that because you're a master, masters are the last one on stage. You have to all know that. Masters are always the last one on stage, and they're worried about being there on time. And it's like, no, you come once all the basic lessons have been taught. That's when you enter. That's when your work needs to be available, and when you need to be ready. And you take twice as long as the average person to do your spiritual work because you're deeper. You're bringing so much more data and processing and consideration to the table. So I think I've always get step 20s and above are always worried, and they're always perfectly on time. It's weird. You can't really screw it up. It's like a lazy river. Checking my notes here. Okay, third question submitted. Okay, 2 written. So is there a part B here, or are we going on to the next one? Gotcha. No on this one. It's like you screamed no at me. We'll get our communication better. Okay, here's another one. Okay, yeah, Rhonda. Step 22, another Taurus. My moo-moos. 20 step degree Taurus, 20 degrees Taurus. Passionate, fertile. That's a Grandmaster Taurus, by the way. Okay, you're freaking me out here, dude. Okay. Moon at 29 Cancer. Wow, we have some intense people coming up in the show. Y'all who are here in this hour are intense people. It's just all these master degrees. So that's a Grandmaster Moon in Cancer. That's a person who has emotionally felt everything twice. And then a rising at 25 Gemini, a master spiritual messenger. So the question is, my husband, Mike, Scorpio sun, 21. It's funny. My brother's name is Mike. He's just 21 degree Scorpio. My husband, Mike, Scorpio, Cancer Moon 11, Virgo rising 16. What major concerns or goodwill 2026 bring for our relationship? Well, that's a very complicated question to some degree, just from kind of this type of moment. I'll tell you what I can, mostly psychic, because the astrological math to see how things are working with timing is complex. It's two charts. But I'll say, knowing that you have first of all, you're opposite sides. You're nearly directly opposite, right? So he's a Scorpio sun at 21, and you are a Taurus sun at 20 Taurus. You're literally opposing each other. You literally sit on the opposite sides of life. And and I think what has to happen in this case for all opposites, and by the way, I keep attracting Scorpios like crazy. I've never had more Scorpio romantic around me than now. They've always been friends, so it kind of flips me out a little bit. I'm like, yo, but also at the same time, like, we need to know our opposite, because the opposite is how we manage ourselves. So the way a Taurus is a better Taurus is by learning Scorpio traits. The way a Scorpio is a better Scorpio is by learning Taurus traits. The way a Pisces is a better Pisces is by learning Virgo traits. The way a Virgo is a better Virgo is by learning Pisces traits. So the opposite is very powerful that you have, but I think there has to be rules and some basic guidelines that you set up in that relationship. And you're concerned about, concerns or goodwill. I'm just trying to set up the playing field of how it works energetically with the two of you. So first of all, you have to know that you have to talk about your feelings all the time. Your words don't matter. You're both step 20s and above. It's really feelings. And don't worry, if you just talk about your feelings, the words you wanted to say to explain, you won't have to. When we talk about our feelings, we literally telepathically share the information. It's like we open up the aura and go, hey, just take a look, take a feel. You'll know instantly how everything is. And so, step 20s have to be this way and trade feelings. But you're both, you are a step 20, so you have a boundary issue anyways that you're learning to put up there. And you're a Taurus, and guess you're married to the one who's great at boundaries. So there's a trade there. So it's complicated, right? But in essence, as far as the connection is concerned, because of the opposite thing, it's kind of cool. I can actually do the math in my head. I think for the Scorpio Taurus, going forward, in essence, for Scorpios and Tauruses, um, Scorpios are getting rid of the hell life, and Tauruses are getting rid of the fear they're in hell. And so at first, this new era will be you putting yourself out there and him putting himself out there in the world. And so at first it might be a little scary because you're kind of learning how to re-engineer how you operate and how you respond to things. But then as soon as you get your groove on, Taurus Scorpio is going to be incredibly strong because of the nature of where it goes. So, so my point is, concerns, you're about to go through a finance transit with Jupiter in your second house. And so the more you let love flow this next summer, the more you let love in and you accept love, that's what I'm picking up psychically, the more abundant you'll be. So I'm sorry it's not a black and white answer, yes or no, but we're at this moment now where people have to perform in order to get what they want. And I think there's going to be so much uncertainty, chaos. But like what I feel around the corner is at sometimes it's like it's like wonder beyond belief. So I feel like I can feel these pockets, and I've always been this way. When I was a kid, even I could feel stuff like that, and I didn't tell anyone what was going on inside of me. But it's almost like I could feel on the calendar when something was going to happen. I could just feel the calendar is what it was. I could feel the calendar because my mind would see a calendar. And so I've always been able to feel around the corner. And what's very interesting about this next feeling is that it's like, in some ways, it's just it's so great to be alive. It's so great to be alive. It's such a high is what I'm feeling. Incredible highs to the point of like, what are we doing? Are we working? But then I also feel a lot of fear, anxiousness, nervousness, unsettled, a lot of nervous energy, a lot of not comfortable anywhere kind of thing. So there's that part of it. And as far as the dark part that I was kind of assuming forever is going to happen, I don't feel it. I was talking to a friend today, two friends today, actually. I was talking to Krista Marie. I mean, her and I hung out before she came on the show. And I was like, are you feeling darkness? I think I asked her on the show because I've always felt it coming, No, we're not feeling it. We're not feeling that kind of feeling anymore at all. It might be we're disconnected. It might be that it's gone. I can't tell. In fact, you guys, do you feel any darkness? I love our studio audience to tell us, like, this would be a great poll. I'm real curious. I'd always felt there was danger. I guess that's a better way to put it in the future. Danger, like be cautious, warning this. Lots of just sort of like spiritual warning of each step I took in general and to tell people about it and to be cautious about. And now I don't feel that very much at all. So it's been interesting. It's been a solid 6-7 months. In me, I've had issues. In me. All right, friends. Thank you so much for your question. I'll look over it again on the commercial, make sure we covered all of it. But let's take a little break. We'll be right back. We're going to continue with New Year's Eve. We're almost to 2026. What does that mean? I'll tell you in a minute.
At Hair Intelligence, we believe that every strand of hair has its own voice and needs. By combining ancient wisdom with modern biochemistry, we create pure, organic solutions that work in harmony with your hair's natural biology for optimal hair health naturally. By choosing simplicity, sustainability, and science-backed natural solutions, we help our clients transform their hair, whether it's repair, regrowth, or simply radiant, healthy manes they seek.
All of her products have completely changed my hair. I like to call it magic in a bottle. If there's one thing that she knows, it's hair.
Before using Karen's products a few years ago, I struggled with various hair challenges, including alopecia, and now I've overcome them and I've just fallen back in love with my hair.
Get your best hair with clean, organic products that are catered to your hair's unique health and longevity. Get 20% off your first purchase at Hair Intelligence by entering code SiriusJoy20 at checkout. Rediscover your hair's true potential.
Happy holidays! I'm Sanandra, founder of Sichi Organics. For the past 30 years, our goal has been to bring the healing power of plants into your everyday life with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. Sichi makes a wonderful gift for the holidays. Enter code word JOY30 at checkout and you'll receive 30% off any individual Sichi skin and hair care product.
Happy holidays!
SiriusJoy Academy is now offering gift certificates called Gifted Scholarships in 6-month, 9-month, and 1-year increments. This is the first time we've ever offered this. SiriusJoy is the most accurate astrology service in the world. And now you can stun your loved ones with a spiritual mirror that helps them every day. Visit SiriusJoy.academy to make your purchase. That's SiriusJoy.academy. Available now.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. So nice to be here. And by the way, forgive me, I'm having chocolate. I love chocolate. It's a good little smack of enlightenment, is it not? And I know my ladies know that. I talk about that in readings all the time. But it's funny how like something like that can just like suddenly perk you up. And ultimately, that's what we're in. We're in the era of going to perk ourselves up vibrationally. We're going to live in a higher vibe. And I have to say, the first part of that pull, the higher vibe, was that anything low was just so heavy. So being pulled up, things get heavier because we're meant to let go of it. So we're looking at it. So this is New Year's Eve where we are letting go. We're letting go of such old stuff. As I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, we're letting go of moral crisis that goes back to the Civil War. We're letting go of, value system of World War II, and that value system was really twisted in World War II as far as bombing another country with a nuclear bomb. That's like, what kind of a value question was that? Who I understand all the politics, whatever, but we weren't valuing life very much, were we? We weren't valuing life very much. I feel like we are now. I feel like we've come a long way. We're letting go of this era of I think the totalitarian and the Hitler and the extremism to the point of total horrible suffering. Now, that said, there is some terrible, horrible suffering going on this planet still. I'm not going to ignore that. And it's horrible. And it's interesting because it's kind of, in typical karma ways, almost reverse roles in some ways of the original, what we witnessed then. And that tends to be what happens. You see just people take opposite sides. Just like in the Civil War, for instance, you may not know this, but the Republicans was Abraham Lincoln. And back then, the Republicans had more of a liberal perspective. And the Democrats back then had more of a conservative perspective and represented, represented actually the South and the slave trade. So it's backwards of what we know, right? And that's how karma works. Karma tends to do that. Everyone will have to take the other side. Everyone has to see it from the other side. Every soul has to play the other side. And that's the only rule I think there is in the company of heaven is you got to finish your plate. If you start something, you got to go the whole full 360, go around the circle and finish your plate. So we finished our plate with moral stuff that goes back to the Civil War. We finished our plate with value stuff, the values and valuing life or not, goes back to World War II. And we're going to now go back now and change things as far as the way we think. And what I've noticed too, just put this out there quick for New Year's Eve, the mind is about to explode. People have talked about AI and being afraid of it and whatnot. And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter. It's going to force everyone to run, to become smarter all the time, to feel like you have to be smarter. If you don't just keep opening your mind, you'll be left behind. It just forces the whole world to think better is what's going to happen. We're going to be, chasing us or chasing it. Yeah. So, and it's making people more creative. I'm very pleased with it so far. I will say that, yes, we have to watchdog it. And yes, we have to, humans cannot allow industries to go rogue anymore. We cannot allow it. We cannot allow an industry to go rogue anymore. I know we did with all these other industries, cigarettes, the industrial war complex, all these businesses that, from 1950 to, now, who now own most of the world and most of the businesses. It's like we are responsible as citizens for letting that happen. We're responsible. And we have to stand up and just take our power and say, no. Sorry, we're the majority and no, and there's, because basically the way it works is people keep doing it until someone says no, And going on our own purpose, someone just noticed, it's like, yeah, if you're on your own personal purpose and you're with your heart, you are doing the perfect thing for humankind. Absolutely. But I also think too, we don't get out of it. We're going to have to organize. We're going to have to talk to each other. We're going to have to network. We're going to have to focus as a population to change the world. We have to focus on it. It's going to be something we have to organize and do. And people go, conspiracy is a conspiracy theory or whatever. It's a conspiracy is a well-organized business machine behind whatever that is. Anytime something like that is happening in the world, and it does, propaganda was a huge conspiracy. Is quite often propaganda. That was started in World War II. With Hitler's side, we saw that brought those people over. But the point is that we're at a point now where we have to take control of how we think and focus on what we want and just focus forward on what we want to do next, because things are going to leap so far. We're either aware of it this time and we keep our eye on it, or we lose everything probably as far as AI controlling things and whatnot. It's going to be humans that have to keep all this stuff in check. And I'm just curious, does anyone here in chat, does anyone let me know if you use, AI? And I think AI is a very, very important topic. And if, I'll try to keep it interesting when I bring up the topics, but I want to have conversations I think we need to have on this show. And AI is one we got to talk about all the time. We've got to talk about what's morally cool and what's not morally cool and where's the line, and start to get vocal about it and start to make it a conversation piece, so that the people who are creating this will hear us. And also the AI. It's kind of a weird situation. Yeah. All right, let's see what the second question is. We have another question? There are two one-part questions. Okay. All right, so let's do our next question. Yeah, I feel that intuitively. Betsy, oh, cool. 15. All these net sixes. Last couple of days, too. Net sixes have been it. Sorry, guys, my hair's been hard to keep up. It's humid here. 15-degree Gemini. Oh, I love that. And notice how step 23, Aries rising. So you notice right away, you got a strong Gemini sun, and then her rising is ruled by Gemini also, Grandmaster Gemini, and a 12 moon, which is run by Sagittarius. But is what's the moon in? Aries rising in moon, so 12-degree moon in Aries. Wow, double. So what is a good career choice for me? Wow, look at this. Everyone's in that same place. Great, that's great. We just keep it going, Sarah. I'm looking for business inspiration. First of all, for Geminis in general, Sagittarius in general, you got to be willing to be uncomfortable. Okay, that's one thing I think is holding you guys back. I think that you just, because your mind flutters everywhere, you actually are very stubborn about changing stuff, because you're just like, no, this is soap I like. I'm gonna always use this soap. I'm gonna always do it this way. I'm gonna always do it that way. Geminis will close down on a lot of stuff here, and then their mind will be like, oh, they'll be very open-minded, and they can take on any kind of thought because they're just so grounded with those decisions. And Pluto's gone through that space and said that's not going to work, and so you have to make different decisions about where the line is and how to protect yourself, because where Geminis are going, it's going to make you a little seasick. I'm not kidding. It's as far as career choice for you, I'm still answering this question, by the way. You're about to change so profoundly. It's very difficult to predict what the next career thing is for you. You says business inspiration. Absolutely. I think there's going to be nothing but business inspiration. I think it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a gold mine as far as business ideas, because again, AI can do so much of it for us. We're talking about AI will do, I was talking to friends, I can do a research thing that would normally take me 2 weeks in 2 hours. That is incredible, leap. If you think about it, I was a kid, you have to go to the library to research. You could never speed that up any way at all. You just go and look at book after book and search, just took forever. Now it's ask it and you have the answer. So my point is, Geminis, you have Uranus in your sign. And so you're going to just keep going up, 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 up. And the first thing that happens is that you have to let go of what's holding you back. So I like that you're open-minded because you're asking, right? The other aspect about Geminis and career stuff is that, what's your rising is Aries. So yeah, okay. So in a way, you're kind of a purist also in that sense, is that Geminis, they really their karma was in their career. So all of your career stuff up until now was karma. It actually does not reflect who you are professionally or what your potential is at all. Not at all. And it's not you wasted your time. You were wrapping up like lifetime after lifetime of karma that had come up where you had been fired or you had, lost a company or whatever your karma is, or been a poor parent because it's about leadership and taking direction. And so, so for this particular topic, I'm glad you brought it up, but I want to let you know, it's like the answer is you have to feel it out. Geminis have to feel it out. Your mind will not be able to figure it out. Sorry. There's no data, first of all. It's brand new. Second of all, that is the low resolution Gemini. The low resolution Gemini is to only think. And yes, you're fast thinkers and you're good and you're clever and you're fun, all that stuff. But the mind is just one tool. And so I think Geminis are expanding and bringing information from these other, energy sources of truth. And, and as a result, because of where Aquarius is in your chart, you're going to end up totally being mind blown about what you believe. So my point is, and I know this is a long answer, but Geminis deserve it. My son, one of those times, if it was my son, I'd say, son, you're not going to know. And every time you think you know, God's going to blow your mind. And then you think you're going to know again, and God's going to blow your mind again. And then you think you finally got it, and God's going to blow your mind. Like that is Uranus in Gemini, because Geminis are so fixed on their neural networking that if they move off of it, their mind's blown to begin with. But then if you give them something on top of that that's compelling and interesting, that now their obsessive part goes, swimming after it, they're on the ride. So I think Gemini is going to be on an intellectual conscious ride for the next 7 years. And but come talk to me whenever you see me, because I love talking to Geminis and hearing where you are. So let's put the question up one last time. I think she wanted a specific, like what to do. It's not like her personality again. Well, I don't know what you've done in the past, but I think you say business inspiration. I think you are the inspiration. I think you're meant to be the inspiration. I think you're meant to inspire people. That's what I think now that I look at it, because you're very congenial. You can talk to anybody, can't you? You can go back and forth, talk to anybody, from south, north, whatever. You can relate to anyone on anyone's level. And because you have that Aries rising, you're strong. No one's going to screw with you. And the moon right there, also blasting people. Like people feel like you feel them. Like people feel like you're on their level, but your mind is not. And your ego is not. Your performance is not. You're at the master level, but they feel like you're one of them. They feel, because your moon is at 12 degrees, your moon is on like the everyday person. So for that said, just as far as good career choice, you're well suited to what I keep picking up psychically actually is, I think you're going to be your own light worker. Honestly, I feel like you're going to have some sort of solution. I would say, look at your talents. There's things you figured out that other humans have not figured out. And that is a value. And so you figure something out in life, but you haven't figured out what it is yet. And once you accept it, what it is, maybe it's a comparison thing. I just think Geminis have a hard time getting outside of themselves and thinking outside themselves. And so this particular moment you're at, it's hard to see outside yourself. So what you have to do is feel your way through. That's going to be how I conclude this whole reading. And for all Geminis, you got to feel it. So if you go like, I can go here tonight for New Year's Eve. We go to this bar, we go to this club. Which do we go to? The answer is which one feels better. That's the answer. What feels better. And that's not what anything you've been raised to think would tell you, right? But that's how humans work. We're very, very empathic. We're very intuitive. And something will tell us which one to go to. And eventually you learn to trust it. And for Geminis and Gemini risings, for the next 6 years, you have to trust that. All right. I understand we have a couple more questions. Yay. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Interesting. All right. Oh, put her back. Oh my gosh. Question: Would love any insights at all for the upcoming year, maybe in regards to career, relationships, family, or just any other insight? That's always good. It's just another Taurus. So we see the pattern here, guys. Taurus, Sun, Moon at 27 Virgo, another high vibration moon. These masters and rising at 0 Scorpio. Wow. Grandmaster 0 Scorpio rising. Wow, that's pretty intense. It's letting in spirit for you. So, means 0 Taurus. So your sun is at, you have a 0 degree Scorpio line on the first house. So like that creates incredibly clean step number algorithms. And so you are exactly right now 23 degrees. Your sun is 23 degrees into the 7th house by nature. You are a relationship person and you're a mastermind about relationships and the manifestation of relationships. But this can be the relationship between potato chips and dip. This can be the relationship between you and another. This can be a relationship between 2 countries. You are really a thought leader with relations. And so that said, your new territory going forward is that Uranus moving into your 8th house is making you trust yourself on a deeper level like you never have. And so your mind's not going to have, it's your fish out of water. Your mind's going to feel like a fish out of water, going into 2026. And that's because you'll be pushed into situations that you've never been in before. You have no data, you have no analysis to think about it, that go back to. And so as a result, you're forced to pay attention to your feelings. And I think for you, because you're a master of emotion and relationships both, your feelings are always invested in other people. So, I don't know how much you get home to check you and your temperature and all that sort of thing. So that said, I think going forward, and just giving you where things are going versus answering the questions of all those things. I was going to tell you where the things are going. What's going is intimacy, being closer to people. And then I'm feeling like Saturn in Aries, Scorpio rising. And at the same time, we have to say, really starting to live a totally different life than you had before. So, because that Scorpio is rising, all your karma has been around love, around kids, it's been around creative projects, all these types of things. And so you had a lot of healing to do in that regard. But because of the nature of your rising, I know that you're going to be going through a career boom next year, like starting in the summer. And you've just come out of a heart situation where your heart can now heal and come online. And so it's really about living in the moment differently. And first things first, performing differently with yourself, being there for yourself. And because you're getting closer to life than you've ever been, you're going to feel sensitive, and you just have to build more ritual and conscious awareness to keep yourself feeling solid as you go through a lot of change. You'll be trailblazing a lot of change. So Saturn's going to be in your 6th house, that 0 degree, and that means your relationship to your health and connection to your body is the first thing that has to expand. And what this normally means for people like yourself is that you're just a person who usually walks through the pain, pushes through, we got this. You just think, double down when things get hard, the tough get tougher kind of thing. And that approach will not work anymore. It's expired because that approach ignored the sensitive parts of yourself. And although you survived, you did not thrive. I'm talking about, Scorpios and Scorpio risings did not thrive. In fact, you felt kind of bullied is what happened. And you bullied yourself, and you allowed yourself to be bullied, and you became bullies, people of Scorpio risings. So the point is, here we are again, Saturn and Neptune. And so now it's time to look at it like, okay, what is the best way to be strong yet soft? And that'll be one of the big questions for you. How do I remain strong and soft at the same time? And as a Taurus, that's a toughie. Your Scorpio rising, however, means that you've looked at the boundaries before in a deep way. Let me just ask Spirit if there's anything else they want to say. Not really. Just that just that your career, so moving forward with career or what your legacy stuff is, you're definitely being told to be strong for your inner child and let your inner child have what it wants. Let the inner child have what it wants. That's what you're being told. Like, let that child have what it wants. So hope that helps you. All right. I'll take the next question. I love questions. Ailing. 7 Aquarius. That's cool. 10th house. Very cool. Moon 16 Cancer. Another 7 there. So 7, 7. See the 7s, guys? And 3rd house rising 11 Gemini. Wow. So first of all, I just want to speak to your architecture structure. It's like, as a 7-degree sun in Aquarius, you are very, very, you're a hybrid between Holy Spirit and metaphysics energy. So Holy Spirit is sort of like its energy is very subtle, very, very subtle, but very fast. And that's Pisces energy. So Pisces kind of reaches into Holy Spirit and can, let go of earth and focus on spirit, or let go of spirit, focus on earth. And so, can we have it back, please? So 7-degree means that you're an Aquarius in the vibration of earth, like sitting in the water of earth, and you can talk to God at the same time. So you have kind of like master both waves. You should know that. And what's important about that is it will take master both waves to actually make change on the earth, because the Pisces lesson is compassion for yourself. And so that's your lesson too. You have to always be compassionate to yourself, because you have to allow all vibration to flow. If you're tough on yourself, you actually close down your ability to feel the vibration, because you're a translator between what spirit wants and what is currently possible with the given weather or the given economics or the given vibe. So the earth can be a bad vibe, and spirit's like, oh, I want you to make love. And it's like, make love. The earth's such a bad vibe. Right. So you are here to bring between the two. Let me answer your question. The moon is 16 Cancer then says, and that's an incredible antenna to tune into spirit. So to have the emotions tune into spirit, like, gives you like just amazing, incredible fidelity and your ability to like really taste the uniqueness of a person's vibe. And then your 11-degree Gemini, see that 11 Gemini? That means your mind is always calculating and calibrating. So you're like a very well calibrated spiritual instrument. You're like a compass. You have the ability to like tune in the energy in a very sharp, brilliant way. It's all coming online now, but you literally will, kind of set the watch for all the watches, or play the A for the orchestra to tune to. A lot of people in my life have fallen away, and I feel all my friendships are changing. Am I meant to use this time staying alone to focus on my career, or have I spent too long in isolation? Okay, so before I answer that question, I want to show and teach, how everyone answers that question. That question is answered by everyone the same way, and it's, what would be more fun? What does your heart want? Does your heart want to go play in your career, or does your heart want to hang out at home? I know that sounds just too overly simple to be considered a good psychology, but psychology hasn't really succeeded, has it? We're not happy. So my point is, follow our heart. The answer is what your heart wants, okay? Now, truth be told, because Pluto is in Aquarius and your sun's in the 10th house, don't worry, you're gonna be forced to do your career. Forced. You have no choice. Pluto will make you. So don't worry. You get lazy, you'll get on your ass. It'll start tearing things down. It'll force you. Literally, you'll I've seen. So what happens is, wherever Pluto is in our chart, it's another good thing. Wherever Pluto is in our chart is where we don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, we're all kind of like, I don't want to do that. So wherever Pluto is in your chart, it's like, you don't want to do it. Nobody wants to do it. It's been 148 years since we did it, and so we're like, it's just a bad memory. And it feels like having to do your taxes or fill out all these forms is like that, like, oh, all these forms. But the truth is that when it shows up, wherever it is, it really is the spot of you that is dumb, and the spot of you is not paying attention, and the spot of you that is going to be so happy with Pluto on your back, because Pluto's not really like painful. It just pushes you. And as long as you're reasonable, you just keep letting it scoot you up an inch a day, you'll get there. So that said, you never have to worry about career. It will force on you. Not to ignore it, but it's not something you can worry about. Isolation. Yes. I mean, what Spirit's saying to me strongly is, you are a community bridger. Your vibration allows things to come together. You'll notice your sun's at 7, your moon's at 16. And so right off the bat, you're like, from yourself to God to heaven to the people, you just are this person that bridges all the energy. And we are all now ready to find our new friends. So one of the big themes of 2026 that I'll be talking about in the 2026 countdown, by the way, which I'll bring up here after this, this webinar, you guys, you've got to see it. I'm telling you, you've got to see it. And I think it's great if you're there live, because I think live events are so important. Right now, we are learning to come together as a collective. And we'll get back to you here, Aileen, but I take the moment here to teach. we're getting back together as a collective. Now that we have begun to heal the fractions we have within ourselves, now that I'm getting along with me, I can get along with you. And so what we're doing now is moving into this era of becoming closer to each other as a society, which I did not see coming. I was worried about us falling apart, and really it's the opposite. We're coming together. And so I'll say this right now: the Countdown 2026 is a webinar that I do. I used to do it for like 5 hours or 6 hours straight, wore me out, totally abused me. Even my subscribers like, nobody wanted to watch it, but I had to give you everything. I just had to. Now we're doing the same thing, but I've learned what matters and doesn't matter with data. When I was younger, I'm like, here, take all the data. Now I'm just like, none of this matters. None of this matters. Forget that. I'll take you nowhere. Like now I can just be like, it's this, this, and this. And it is always simple. I think perfection or mastery is that the answers are always very simple. So now I boil my knowledge down to the simple parts to pay attention to in a year, how to track your weather for the year. And I'm dividing up the lectures into parts. So we'll have the introduction and all the themes. Then we'll take like a 90-minute break and just relax. And in that time, you'll be able to meet other people in rooms that we set up based on who you are in your astrology. So you're meeting people and you're socializing with people who have the same issues as you in the world, if you happen to be there on that day. And I hope you are, because the more the merrier. And this is a lot of fun. It's really exciting. And we're finding this from my other class that when you meet people of the same aspect as you, like 5 of them or 6 of them, it's an interesting thrill. It's an interesting thrill because you don't think it will be, but and that little thrill you have, like, oh my God, you're like kids in a candy store because you all have the same codependency issue. It's kind of funny, but it's also the magic of astrology. But what it does is it really kind of gives you perspective of oh my God, all these people have the same issue, the same problems. And I thought I was the only one in the world. I thought I was the only one carrying this burden. It helps you in that. It helps you in that regard. Huge, but also gives you like sort of a peek into the mastermind of life, because you start to understand sort of the clockwork of astrology and how we don't need to take things too seriously because we're all going through this somewhere in some aspect. So we'll do these little hangouts between, and then we will go to a lecture for January to June, break, and then a lecture that goes from July to December, and then break, and then Q&A, 90-minute Q&A. People can submit questions all day long. We'll answer them in the order in which you purchase a ticket, and we do that. So it's just a very relaxed kind of carnival on camera with fun music and connecting, which is the new part, is the social part. So that's going to be fun. That's on Saturday. And we're going to get back to that question too, because it's relevant. On Sunday, we then do deeper labs. So if you want to take your chart and you want to come up with a map of what you need to do this year, like, okay, because I'm going to give the map in the presentation. To me, the map is sort of like a football game. Now it's going to run a corner here. We're going to do this. We're going to do a pass. Like it's just, there's this path of energies coming in and dates. And so as an astrologer, I try to like go, okay, get over here. Watch it over there. There's a rhinoceros. So we're going over here. So just trying to help people, on what side of energy to be at any kind of extreme moment. And I think there'll be times where we can't believe our eyes. We cannot believe our eyes. I think that's what I'm feeling psychically. It's like moments where like, I can't believe what I'm looking at. So something's going to wow us like that, unfortunately, which kind of cracks open something in us. And that's what I feel big, is that our minds get cracked open this year for sure. And we're like, I didn't know that was even a thing, that level of it. But that's a good thing too. That said, we have to have a little bit of a map, and that's what this is going to do for 2026, this countdown. Get a little bit of a map. So when you get lost, here you go. Here's your theme attraction, for coming to Earth, and this is your map and how to get through the year. The last thing we're doing is we are doing a calendar. I can't believe it took this long. I'm so grateful for those who've helped me build it and put it together. But this is my 20th year, guys. And I didn't think I was going to kind of ham that up, but the more my life has been coming and catching up with me, in the last couple of weeks, like in a heavy way, the more I'm like, holy crap, I just did 20 years of this. Like that's a long time for me, like of being on the same path or whatever. And so I'm coming to these realizations, these big realizations. And one of them is just that, you get to a point where the message and the information, you just know exactly how to get to it and get out of it. So it's like, I had become a master. Step 20 is master. I am a master now. I can go in, I can get you through a problem, I can get you the path, and I can get you out of there. And as an astrologer, that's my genius. I'm very good, I think, from past life military background, and then my understanding of consciousness. So if you do a reading with me, if you do a class with me, if you do a webinar with me, you'll find that what I do is we're not going to waste a lot of time on details and things you don't need to hear about. We're going to focus on the compelling stuff, because I love seeing a mind open up. But I'm going to get you in and get you out as clean and as easily as you can of the situation. And to me, that's the mark of a good practitioner. Because you can be a great astrologer and a bad practitioner. I'm a brilliant practitioner for sure on that level. So come on down, y'all. This calendar will be available. You'll be able to log into your calendar and add it or subscribe it to your Google or to your iCal or anything like that. And that's exciting for me. I'm starting to use my own medicine here to have the whole year's chart. I mean, all the planets, everything set up automatically in my calendar. By the way, there's some Easter eggs in there. Got some surprises. And I'm also putting in, what's the word? Like notifications. So like if there's a date, for one thing I'm doing is like for step 8 days are days when you have to make a decision, right? And so now I'm just like you can with any appointment, I'm programming into the calendar. Okay, well, 4 days before the decision, remind myself, hey, you've got this decision coming up in 4 days. Have you thought about it? Kind of thing. Just those kind of reminders. I think it's gonna be interesting to have this as a tool. It's a whole year's data. Right now, we can only give you the whole year. So you got to buy the whole year up front, because, once we leave it out, we can't do like a subscription thing just yet. That'll be coming. But it's a lot of data to deal with, that sort of thing. But you guys can get that, by the way, at newyears.guru. Newyears.guru. You can get the calendar. I'll have the calendar for sale afterwards, but it's packaged. You can like save some money on it when you buy it with our package. And you can buy the whole weekend for everything for $303. And to me, you're going to walk away feeling like you spent $1,000. Because I have gone to some of these webinars now and seen what people are getting for $1,000 and stuff. I'm telling you, I'm giving you $1,000 worth of content here for $300. I really am. What other people will charge $1,000 for, because I want you to have it and apply it. I mean, yeah, raise my price for other things, but we got to keep it reasonable. But the truth is we also have to own what we are worth. We have to own what we're worth now. And I have to say it's a light works, y'all. Do not give it away in 2026. I think we have 2 more readings, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, we're on a show. Current time. Okay. Oh, we got LOL airing at 6. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's do this. So yes, let's finish this up. Use the time staying alone in my focus, my career. So just to put the second on this, it's like, no, you're about to develop. I mean, business will be pushing you, but when I tap into psychically, you got some internships to do. So, you're an Aquarius. You got to be up on the coolest and greatest and newest things. And so you're going to be pulled into something that you have to kind of intern at. That's what I'm picking up on. Intern at. That sounds like internet. Because it's a trade. You help them do something and they teach you a whole bunch, like 10 years of experience in 1 year. And I don't mean intern and like not get paid at all. But in essence, it's much lower than your worth, because that's what they can afford. But you're getting like wicked knowledge, fast growth. And that's how God levels people up. We get quick lessons. Okay, I think we're good on this one. Yeah, we're done with that one. We have like very crude communication between this. Sophia, 17 degree Capricorn, Grandmaster Capricorn. Hello, Empress. 7 degree Moon and Sag. I love all these 7s coming in. You guys, all these spiritual people. I love you. And a Grandmaster Aries rising. Damn. This is like every prom queen and king in the country is showing up tonight. You guys are all masters. I'm so, God, humbled, really. When I get humbled, it's like, man, all these masters showing up for me. Can we put back up, please? All right. Oh. We'll talk about that. What are the important things I should focus on for 2026? Well, let me just think with that. Rising at 27 Aries. You're reinventing yourself is what it is, because you have a 27 degree rising in Aries, but it's actually happening very deep. So what I pick up on is that Moon at 7 Sag. I'm wondering if you have any 16s in your chart, or if you have any 25s in your chart, 16s or 25s, because I don't feel you do. And my point is that I feel like you're right. Your spiritual connection, like your broadband ability,
downloading Akashic record stuff, being able to read other people, all the stuff I do, guys, everyone has the right to and will do. Everyone. So if you have, I'm amazed, by the way, what we can do as humans. I'm amazed at what comes in my head. I'm amazed what I get answers to when I just ask. I'm amazed. They'll be like, well, how does this work? Spirit will tell you, but you don't know what the fuck they're saying. But you're getting the full thing, and you're like, this is, I know I don't have a part of myself that's just making this up on the fly. So I think you're getting higher bandwidth because of your 27-degree Aries rising. That means everything from 27 to 0 Aries is in your 12th house. That means that Saturn and Neptune, the planet of the 12th house, is in your 12th house with Saturn. Take responsibility for, and Saturn's your ruling planet. So you could say, a good way to look at this is, for you, you're basically on a bit of a hiatus to some degree, and a sabbatical would be a good term for it. You're on a sabbatical. You are growing as a professor, but you are not teaching right now. You're not meant to be on stage. You are here to absorb, connect to your past lives. You're not going to be called to stage until Saturn crosses that ascendant at 27 Aries. So until Saturn's at 27 Aries, which is in 2.5 years, you are not called to stage. So that means that you have the right to develop yourself and get in there and take your time and not worry about the world, because you are needed. And I'm not saying you're going to be completely dead to the world, but you're going to be called to little pockets of the world because of Saturn the 12th. You're going to be called to past life moments, past life places you've lived, past life stories you've experienced. You're going to be called these different things. They'll make no sense because they're just out of, like, they don't manifest linearly. They don't make any logical sense. It's because the 12th house unfolds differently than anything on the earth. And so you're just going to be sort of walking around the world, finding yourself in weird places at weird times until Saturn crosses that ascendant. Okay. So as far as important things to focus on, learning you, the depth of you, what this, I sensed this, and then that happened. I felt this, and that happened. You're mapping you out. You are mapping at your subconscious. You're letting go of your karma. You're letting go of your heavy stuff. In that sense, again, I always say you're the last one on stage. You're just now coming on stage to healing your spirituality, when many of us have just done that for 12 years. And it's not that you're behind, it's that you're a master. You have more information to load than everyone else. You have more to do. And what's the master? The rising is the mastery. Okay. I think your heart lives in the proficient and your moon connects to the individual, but I think everything's getting an upgrade is what's going to happen. So I thought about Saturn, I thought about Uranus and Gemini. Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is with Uranus and Gemini, you need, emotionally, because your rising is Aries 27, so you're really at that point refining your mind. My point is, like, so the way you think and the way you think about your feelings, basically you're learning how to get deeper into yourself, nurture yourself, settle in yourself, because there's parts of you that need to bloom. And so you really are going with inward for the next 2 years, inward, and not really called to do anything outward. But you'll still be in places, in certain places at certain times, because you have all that karma with that sort of thing. But it's all by coincidence. It won't be because you planned it. Good luck. Happy New Year, Sophia. I went on that journey that you're going on, by the way, and it brought me here where I am right now. Our last question. This is our last, I think. Christina, yay. Oh, Sun in Pisces 18. Oh, I hate that. It goes away. We got to fix that, man. It's like my heart goes, oh. Pisces 18 degrees. That sextiles my sun, so we would connect very well. Aquarius rising at 11. Oh my God, my Jupiter's on your Aquarius rising. So I'm here to like triple that money. Moon at Capricorn 19. That 19 moon actually grand trines with my stuff. So yes. Thank you for watching. I feel our compatibility. I'm in your self-love masterclass. My moon is at 19 Capricorn. Can you share your insights on my moon and thoughts on progressions and what this means in the step system? My progressed moon is at 11 Leo, conjunct my descendant. Interesting. Okay, so what happens is that what the step system teaches us is that things progress. All right. And what's that mean? It means that there is a flow in the universe that is always constant. It's never stopping. You can't stop it. And it's the progressions, okay?
Now, it's also, and progressions are that energy from God consciousness just keeps going in cycles and circles. So what the step system tells us is how things progress to how things progress. So in the step system, it progresses from being zero boundaries to then it forms into the form of love. And then that love energy becomes emotional energy. And then emotional energy then becomes belief. And the belief then becomes where to belong in the world. And then belong in the world then becomes a thought with the mind. And so this is us transmuting our energy through this system of materialization, how we materialize from spiritual energy thought to materialization. That is a cycle. Those are steps, the ways we step around. But what's interesting is while we are personally going through this to create things on Earth, the Earth is going in circles around the sun over and over and over again. And so the Earth is being exposed to, all these different constellations as it swings around from the back. And the idea here is that we are being exposed to the same cycle of constellations, but every time you do a lap, you grow in awareness. So you grow in awareness, right? You go, oh, well, here I am again. Here I'm at the park. Well, this time I'm at the park. I don't know if I want to be around kids. And, so you're just different. And then next year, oh, you know what? I miss kids. So every time we see the same view, we have a different reaction and we grow. That's the progression. That's you progressing, right? So in our daily life, we progress up. Okay. In astrology, what they do is they have formulas for it, algorithms for it, of basically, and it's the rate of consciousness, and the rate of consciousness is constant. The rate of consciousness is constant. That's what the planets are. They're in this constant, pretty much, plus or minus, this flow. Even though they speed up and slow down, they're like in this rhythm, and the planets are in this rhythm. And apparently, the latest I've heard is that it's what I always suspected, that it's the billions of stars that are all blinking still. Some of them are dead out there, but they're blinking their light to us, all these stars. And all those stars are conscious masters. To be a star in spirituality, to be, the way God's conscious works in the company of heaven, all those stars are very special souls, extremely special. And with character and ideas and theories, they're like forefathers of the universe and foremothers of the universe. And so what happens is our planets stir in front of this. They're sending their waves of wisdom of consciousness, broadcasting consciousness to us through light as a transmitter. And then the planets will then color that light. And so the light changes colors because of the planet spinning around. That's kind of what happens. And so we're being rained upon with all these different colored rains. And that brings us to the progression question. Would you bring back up, please? I went deep on that, but you all deserved it. So progression is how far you've learned by how many times you've gone around the track, by how you've climbed in the spiral. And in astrology, it's a year for a day. So if you're born like May 9th, like me, then when you're 1 year old, your progression is May 10th. So you calculate the chart as if they're born on May 10th, as if they're born on May 11th. So for every year you're alive, you move the charts up one birthday, one day in the chart. And so you basically get, in that year, you end up living, if you live to be 90, you live 3 months in your birth chart. 3 months out and be 90. So 19 Capricorn. 19 Capricorn, first of all, is a devotion of responding to your heart. 19 is a tough degree because you have to be very focused on self-love and what your heart needs, and you have to be willing to tune out the world. Now, you have a moon in Capricorn, so you can tune out the world pretty easily compared to most. However, your sun is in Pisces. Your heart is very exposed to the world and very open to the world, but your emotions, your personal feelings about it, you can actually shut down. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's good when you don't want to get hurt. It's bad if you need those feelings to get passionate to make something manifest. With your rising at 18 Aquarius, that means that your moon is 1 degree in your 12th house, if I'm not mistaken, doing the math here. And so, And so your moon is actually tied to your faith issues. So your moon has a capacity to blow up your faith in the sense of you're so faithful, you're going to just walk right in there and ask for that $1 million loan. Or if point to the dark side where you worry and question your faith because your moon is there, you can make it into a huge soap opera. It does not have to need to be. But most importantly, the moon's placement there gives you incredible empathic powers. When you become very sensitive and nurturing to your own feelings and be compassionate to you, which as an 18, you're not naturally compassionate, you're tough, you make it go, When you start to really listen to all the little tiny aches and pains that you have, you become a brilliant diagnosis of other people's aches and pains, because you are your own map, basically. And that moon, I mean, that Aquarius rising in 11. Yeah. That means that you are naturally attuned to, you understand vibrational integrity, which means if you want to use like an orchestra, for example, you are always in tune. You have a perfect ear for tuning your instrument. And so you would be someone that the orchestra would select to then go tune the orchestra, be the one ear that knows all the pitches, you have that attunement. I'm the same way with human consciousness. I have Jupiter 11. So it's my suitcase of knowing people. Fun stuff. Okay. If you want to direct people, great. So folks, I'm sorry about, we'll get better at this. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for one bit. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of everything I've done. And I'm proud that you're here, and I'm proud that we're here together. And I'm proud to move on to 2026. I'm really happy with an open heart. We're going to have a great year, guys. We're going to have a fabulous fucking year. And there's so much fun that's going to happen. I don't think we can believe it. It's like we're going to be kids again for some of us. We're going to be kids. And it's not saying we're being mature and not get things done, because we're already mature. We were mature kids, but I can feel this year is going to be fantastic. And I'm so happy to do it with you. We have to start gathering our friends and start pulling them together. So think about that tonight. Light workers need to start pulling in the crap. It's time to, I'm getting instruction. Like it's time to take hands. It's time to hold hands. It's time to hold hands, come together, the ones who are in the light and the ones who know. And that's all I have to say for this year. I will not be back, and I will not talk to you again until 2026. You hear me? But I hope you have a great night. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Use an Uber. It's so easy. I love you. I'll see you next year. Live, love, be.